What's up, YouTube? I'm actually shooting my before gym video after the gym because every once in a while when I get in that truck of mine, my phone hooks up to CarPlay and I can't get the mic working. So we're actually or I get the mic working, but the video doesn't go through. So what we're doing today, or what we did in the gym, was back in biceps day. Uh, we did a set of two working sets of wide grip lat pull down. We're still going really heavy. I'm happy with that. Uh, we're trying right now for these next couple weeks. I'm trying to keep the load really heavy to give a heavy stimulus to the muscles. Um, I want to keep that heavy stimulus for now, and then once we get farther into a deficit, we'll focus more on strengthening and lengthening the muscles through a full range of motion, and then a full, as hard as I can, contraction, that type of thing, to give that stimulus towards the end when my body's more at risk for injury. The more of a deficit you're in, the less fat intake you have, the more or the easier it is to hit that threshold of injury, and that's something we don't want. We got to be mindful of all that as you're cutting down and dieting down. You just don't want to press it too hard because you don't have the same amount of protection that you would have when you're fully carved up, when you've got those extra calories from fat protecting around the joints and the ligaments and the tendons. So we got to be mindful of that. And just keep that in mind for you guys who are going through a cut or a diet. You don't have to, when you get towards the end, or you're really in a deficit, you don't have to be throwing huge weights around because you're really not, you're not trying to gain muscle anymore. You're trying to cut down and shed down fat. The muscle gaining is really, that's really over for right now. What we're focused on is preservation of muscle. So dieting and cutting down in a way that's going to facilitate fat loss, but also mitigate the amount of muscle loss. And that, especially for us natural guys, that's a harder thing to do. With enhanced athletes, it's a little bit easier to diet down and keep all of your muscle that you've gained through your bulk. And it's just more difficult with people who don't have those same levels of hormones. So especially for me, I have really low testosterone. Natural, well, not naturally. I'm sure when I was younger, it was higher, but in the last couple of years, I've ran blood work a few times, and the last time I ran it, I think it was around. I'll have to check. I got the paperwork in my office, but my other office, but I think it was around 250, which is in most charts below normal. I think the normal range is 300 to 900. Give or take. They're all a little bit different, but I'm definitely on the lowest side of normal, if not below normal. So I have to be mindful of making sure that we're just losing fat and really trying to mitigate the amount of muscle loss. So we'll see how that goes as we go. Back to the workout though. So we do the lat pull downs. Next, we go into bent over single arm rows. I really like to stress this with people. So I see a lot of people with their single arm rows just incorporating way too much bicep and not enough lat work. So it's a back exercise. You should be trying to limit the amount of bicep involvement that you have. You're bending the arm, you're going to have some bicep involvement. But um, one thing to really help you focus on driving through that lat and getting that lat contraction and working is to not so much think of just rowing the weight up, but to think of pulling your hand through your hip. When you do that, you should feel that lat muscle really engage. Another thing to think about is while you're doing that and pulling that hand through the hip, keeping your armpit squeezed, like you're trying to squeeze an orange in between your armpits. So squeezing that orange, pulling that hand through the hip instead of through the mid back or through the middle of the torso. A lot of people bring their arm way too high up here. Try to keep it down towards the hip and drive back and through. Um, Again, we're focusing on our working sets with this. Still trying to go heavy. We're obviously still trying to get a little bit of a good stretch and then a really good contraction. But my top priority for right now is heavy stimulus. Keep the muscle stimulated with the load right now before we change that in the later days. After our single arm rows, we're going to go to a seated horizontal row. Same thing. Really heavy weight still. I do for a lot of my reps. I do try to do a round of the back and really extend the lats. When I'm in my heavy working sets, I don't do as much of that because I don't want that load with the flexion of the lower back as much as I do when I'm going lower weights and just focusing on contraction and lengthening. But during my warm up and my feeder set, I will do a full flexion of the lower back to really try to stretch out those lats, come back up, drive through the hips. Same thing with the single arm rows, trying to drive that elbow and that hand down through the hips and squeeze through the lat. Focus on those cues for that because that'll help with that exercise as well. Another thing I like to do with that exercise is I like to keep, when I'm at the top of the motion, I like to keep my back parallel with the floor. A lot of people will do a lot of this bend in the low back. They'll angle their back really far backward, and that just doesn't target the lats as well, in my opinion. So try to keep your back and your torso perpendicular with the floor, and try not to lean back too much. Even a slight bend forward, and you might find you're getting more of a lat involvement or a lat recruitment from that. So give that a try. Let me know if it helps. After that seated horizontal row, we'll do our straight arm lat pull downs. For those, we have, because we do the stack or the maximum on the weight stack with that, we'll do a triple drop set for our last working set. So we'll do 15 with really lightweight. We'll do 12 with moderate weight. I'll do the stack for 8 reps, and then I'll do the stack for 8 reps, and then bang out 12 to 20 with 30% less, 12 to 20 with 30% less of that. And then after that, we'll have bicep curls on the preacher machine. Only thing I have for that is, well, 2 things. Try to keep your, or at least I do, try to keep your elbows in rather than letting them fade outward. So try to keep those nice and tight. And another thing that I notice a lot of people doing is not supinating the wrist enough. So trying to roll your wrist over, because the biceps, I think a lot of people either don't know or don't care or forgot. The biceps don't just flex the forearm, they also rotate. So they bring this palm upward into that supination rotation. So I bring up, try to keep that fully supinated, try to keep the elbows in, and you'll feel a good squeeze and good recruitment through the biceps. And then we have 2 sets of crunches after that. I won't video that for you guys. And then we have our 30 minutes of walking cardio. So that's it for today. I hope those cues help. Sometimes I'll try to give you guys some good info on that. I've been lifting a long time, so I should have some good tips and tricks for you guys. Unfortunately, for this prep, most of the tips and tricks that I'm going to think of are going to be for the exercises that I'm doing, which is going to be limited because I'm doing the same exercises every single back day. I'm doing the same exercises every single chest day. I'm doing the same exercises shoulder day, quad day, hamstring day. So I'm really only going to touch on those. If you guys have questions about anything else, leave it in the comments for you. I'll do my best to help. I would, this is my first bodybuilding show, but in terms of weightlifting and knowledge base around it. You know, I went to undergrad for exercise science. I did 4 years of that. I went to chiropractic school, studied the body there, and then I've been lifting since I was 16. I'm 34 now. So I I've lifted just about in every genre: powerlifting, strength training, bodybuilding. The only thing I haven't really touched on is strongman competition type stuff and CrossFit. So, and not that I have anything against that stuff, but just not my style, not my favorite thing. It is what it is. Um, but that's it for today. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything, leave it in the comments. I'm happy to help. Happy to talk to you guys. Give me a follow, give me a like, give me a share. I really appreciate you guys watching. And I'll see you guys in the gym and then after. All right. Indy. Ah.
Indy, come. Come. Indy, heel. Heel.
Jake. Come here, bear. You're slippery.
Indy, come. Come. Heel. Heel. Ah. Heel. All right. Make sure our listening skills are on before we get in.
Ah. All right, guys. So we are here at my not my Nashville. We're here in my Columbia office. I just did a little bit of posing in the mirror. I can't really get a good video for you guys because I left my tripod at home. So shame on me. But today's back workout went really good. Still lifting heavy weights, still going up with my my load on most of my lifts, which is really good considering we're still in a deficit. The deficit is slowly getting more and more. So the fact that the strength is still remaining is a good thing, a good sign. Again, we're gonna monitor that and make sure that I don't do anything stupid and hurt myself as we get more and more into a deficit. And I'll update you guys as the weights change. Um, like I've told you guys before, the the workouts really won't change much. We're gonna keep the same types of things I'm doing. The only differences are we might be throwing in drop sets here and there, triple drop sets, that type of stuff. The big thing that's going to change is the cardio. So right now we're doing a half hour of walking every day that I'm lifting, so 5 days a week, and then a stairmaster on hamstring day. So walking for the 5 days, and then stairmaster for a half hour on the hamstring and glute day. I'm sure when we get closer to game time, my coach will probably have me doing some fasted cardio. I'll probably do that at the house. In the basement, I've got cardio bikes in the basement, so I'll probably just do that or fasted walking, depending on what he would rather me do. Fasted walking, I might even prefer because I can bring the dogs out, get the baby some exercise. Uh, my old boy Jake, he loves to go on walks. Really good for him and his heart. So the more I can keep him walking and moving, the longer I have my baby. So, um, you know, sad when you see your pups get to be 12. He's still doing really well, but man, they only have so long with us. So as much as you could do to keep them around, we're gonna do, and that's why we give him the real food. We give him the hamburger, the mixture with the sweet potatoes, carrots, greens, all that stuff, and he gets mushrooms, mushroom powders. He gets probiotics. I mean, that dog eats as good as I do. So try to keep the boy healthy, keep him around so you guys can see him on video. It's probably the only reason you guys watch, just to see the pups. Um, in regards to the workout, like I said, everything was beautiful. Nothing to say about that. That's about all I got. Yeah. So I will see you guys on. Let's see. Today's Thursday. I'll see you guys on Friday. We're gonna do. Today was back, so Friday's chest day, chest and triceps. That should be a good workout. We'll get that filmed and put up, and hopefully some more fun stuff to talk about. Yeah. So, all right, big dogs. I'll see you later.